Hey, boys and girls, how y'all doing? I hope you're all well and happy and healthy. I'm not. I still have long COVID, nearly a year now. That's why I'm lying in bed at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Glenn Fricker. Let's talk about Glenn Fricker. Glenn is a marvelous, wonderful human being by all accounts. However, he is not an expert on guitars, and we need to talk about that. Yes, we do, because I am. How much of a pinch of salt do you need to take with me versus how much of a pinch of salt you need to take with Glenn? Glenn is an expert on the things that he is an expert at, and we already know this. This is why we love his channel and watch it so much. He's also an expert at swearing and being loud. It's part of his brand, but you need to give that a pinch of salt too. Glenn's recent video on the Sterling by Music Man John Petrucci guitar. Wow. Oh boy, Glenn, you put your foot in it here, buddy. Let me tell you. Right. First, let's talk about me because we have a little bit of due diligence in and what's the word for when you have to tell people that thing that you have to tell them that. Um, so me, I am I am one of the forum moderators on the official Ernie Ball Music Man guitar forum. I am not an employee of Ernie Ball. I am not an employee of Music Man. And by the way, Sterling by Music Man are a completely separate company. They are not Ernie Ball. Okay, they are licensed by Ernie Ball. They have their own factory in Indonesia. It is not the Ernie Ball factory. Calling out Ernie Ball for problems with this guitar is not that cool because it's not correct. Number one. Okay, thank you for that. Now, I have been playing guitar for over 30 years. I'm a professional guitar player for over 20 years. I'm also a guitar technician. It is part of my living, it's part of what I do. And as part of that, I was at one point in time the guitar technician for the largest music store in all of France. It's a store that is now closed, sadly. But yeah, I was the guy in the warehouse that looked after everything that came off the back of the truck. We had over 800 to 1,000 instruments in stock at any one time. I saw maybe 5,000 guitars the year I worked there, which seems like a crazy number, but you know what? It's actually true. When I joined there, we were doing 25 internet orders a day. No, we were doing 35 internet orders a day because it was Christmas time and it went down to about 25 after that. So yeah, those numbers add up. 20 to 25 was what I could get through in a day. Let's put it that way. Okay, so yeah, I'm comfortable with my expertise. I'm comfortable that my expertise with guitars is a lot higher than Glenn Fricker's expertise with guitars. And how do we know this? Because Glenn Fricker lubricated the springs. That's a rookie move. And we know Glenn is not a guitar player. I don't expect him to know as much about guitars as I do. But in a video like this, it's important because he does come across as the expert. It's part of his brand is that he knows a lot of stuff that other people don't know. That's why we're interested in watching Glenn Fricker at all. But this is not his area of expertise. Okay. Now we've got that out of the way, we need to discuss something else. The reason I'm doing this video is because somebody has come to the Ernie Ball Music Man guitar forum and said, if I buy a Sterling instrument, what's going to happen? Am I going to be as fucked as Glenn Fricker is? No, you're probably not. If you buy a new instrument from an authorized dealer, you are covered under warranty, okay? Now, in most of the world, not the United States, in most of the world, that warranty means if you have a problem, a defect in workmanship with an instrument, which means that it is not an appropriate condition to play, you have coverage. The problem will be solved for you and you shouldn't have to fork out any money for it, okay? The store will be responsible for doing that. Your contract of sale is with the store to supply you with goods of the appropriate quality. If this guitar that we saw in Glenn's video was delivered to you as a new guitar, the first thing you do is you pick them up and you call them up and say, yo, I have a problem with my guitar. I believe it's a warranty issue. You guys need to fix it. All right? Glenn did not do that. In fact, I'm not even sure Glenn's guitar is a new guitar and kind of suspect it's not, which makes his entire video yelling F and bloody murder at Ernie Ball completely the wrong thing to do. Glenn, you should know better than this. Come on, man. That's just not on. All right, so warranty. As I said, that's warranty issues in most of the world. In the United States, it works differently. Why? Well, partly because a lot of businesses in the US are set up differently, where the company involved deals directly with the store and there's no distribution network. That doesn't work in the rest of the world. There is a distribution network, and part of what that distribution network is there for is to take care of warranty issues. I can talk to you specifically about Europe. In Europe, if you have a warranty issue with something, you deal with your store. Your store is not allowed to fob you off to go to anybody else. The store is to deal with you. You have a minimum of 2 years of coverage against defects in workmanship. Okay, so if this guitar that Glenn had came out of the box like that, you would absolutely be covered under warranty, and your store has to fix it or replace the instrument at no cost to you. Now, that's Europe. Of course, it works differently in different countries. And the US, to be fair, the US really sucks when it comes to consumer protection. People in the United States may not be covered the same way, and it may be perfectly acceptable for Sweetwater or Guitar Center to say, go talk to Sterling by Music Man. Note that they won't tell you to go talk to Ernie Ball because it's not an Ernie Ball instrument, Glenn. Okay, let's talk about the specifics of the guitar. Oh yeah, another thing that I mentioned here. Glenn said he has it from secondhand, albeit secondhand, anecdotal evidence that other people had the same problem with their instruments. Glenn, for the love of fucking Jesus, you should know better. Okay, don't go on the internet and say, I heard it from secondhand somebody else that everybody in there has these problems. Fuck off, that's wrong. Just don't do that. Don't do that. Listen, warranties exist for a reason. Why? Because nobody in any industry anywhere can produce goods with a 100% perfect rate. There is always a small percentage, okay, of products that leave every factory with a problem. There is no way around that because human beings are the people doing the quality control. There's no way, for example, for instruments, machines, computers to do the quality control for us. There are some things that humans have to do, especially when it comes to an instrument that we actually play physically in our hands. But because of the fact that as human beings do it, things will slip through. And this is why we have warranties. Every single brand, and I can tell you this from my own professional experience, working as the guitar tech for the largest guitar store in this country of 60 million people, every single brand has a return rate. Every single brand, no matter what the price. That 1 year that I worked in that store, 250 Gibson guitars were delivered to us. 15 of them went back for warranty issues. That was a ridiculously high number, and we all know that back then, this was 2010, Gibson had major problems, okay? That was shocking. But every single brand has about a 1 to 2% return rate, warranty return rate, okay? As I said before, if this guitar that Glenn Fricker was playing, if this guitar that Glenn Fricker was playing, okay, arrived on your doorstep, new in box, you would send it back immediately and it would be covered, it would be taken care of. Now, we need to talk about something. Yes, Glenn's guitar definitely had an issue. Big problem. Not a good guitar that way. No. Yes, it looked like that nut slot for the high E string was a little over too far. That in itself may not produce the issue that we're seeing higher up the guitar neck, which clearly we could see Glenn was exaggerating and pulling his finger off the neck, but there's no doubt that the problem was there. The problem could also have been caused by string alignment, okay? Or sorry, not string alignment, neck alignment. By the way, go look at my YouTube channel. I have a video there on fixing neck alignment on bolt-on neck guitars. Necks need to have a little bit of room in the pocket. A perfectly tight neck pocket on bolt-on guitars is not a good thing. There has to be a small amount of space to allow for expansion of the woods when they're due to changes in temperature and humidity. We all know necks can do this, bodies do this too, and it can happen at different rates for different woods. A small gap is necessary. A perfectly tight neck pocket is never a good thing, all right? That small amount of gap will vary from guitar to guitar due to manufacturing tolerances, okay? Glenn understands this because I know he used to work in an auto factory. Manufacturing tolerances are a way of life. Glenn will get this. So that means that there may be a little bit more room in the neck pocket than is, credit that is perfectly desirable, let's put it that way, but it's still acceptable. But that little bit of room means that the neck can shift a little bit, and then the strings might be too close to the outside of the neck, and the high E string can slip happily off the frets. Whether that was an issue or not here, I don't know, but it could have been, and it wasn't addressed. Tuning stability issues with the low E string. Yeah, these are problems too. Tuning stability is always about friction, number one, reducing friction. Lubrication is key. That means lubrication in the nut slots, lubrication at the top of the saddles. On a tremolo style bridge like this with the two posts, those posts, the plate, the bottom plate of the bridge sits into a groove in the posts, and it should be a knife edge on the front of the bridge. If those knife edges are in poor condition, you're going to have really bad tuning stability. In principle, you don't need to lubricate the knife edges because there's no lateral motion the way there is with the strings across the top of the saddles of the nut. Although you could try it. Lubricating the springs in the back of the guitar, total waste of time, not necessary at all. No, sorry. And that's where Glenn really showed up his lack of knowledge here. And I want you all to know that. Okay, Glenn is effing and blinding the way he does that we love so much. But in this case, he is not the expert. Okay, and his expertise here, what knowledge he has was a little, we're in the Dunning-Kruger zone. Okay, where you know enough to have more confidence than you need to know because you don't know enough. The other thing I wanted to address here with Glenn's instrument, I suspect it was a secondhand instrument. Am I right, Glenn? This was not a new out-of-box instrument, was it? My clue here is two things. Number one, you said the guitar is not made anymore. Number two, there were grooves in the frets from the strings. That means the guitar has been extensively played. That may mean that the nut itself is not the original nut. It may have been switched out at some point in time for something else. It may mean that the guitar has been badly abused and the knife edges on the tremolo are not in good condition anymore. You know, we don't know. There are lots of unknowns now. And for Glenn to sit there and effing blind in the way that we love so much at Ernie Ball, who did not make the instrument, about a guitar that is used and may have been abused by a previous owner or may have been an ex-demo instrument from the store, that's unfair. That's not on. Glenn, you really should know better than that. That's just not, no, man, you fucked up. Sorry, Glenn, you fucked it up, man. There's no two ways about that. This was not a reliable and unbiased video on the quality of Sterling by Music Man instruments. I am not going to make any comment on the quality control of Sterling by Music Man instruments. That's not my job. I'm not capable of doing that. I have not seen enough of those instruments to do so. Okay, I can tell you that from what I see on the official Ernie Ball forum, which is where the Sterling by Music Man owners come looking for advice and assistance, this is not a problem that I have seen reported. You know, it's certainly not a common issue if it is an issue at all, and this type of thing that can happen in a lot of cases. So there you go. All right, Glenn, yeah, you messed up. Everybody go and buy your Sterling by Music Man instruments. You know what? They seem to be making great instruments, and if you're buying from a reputable dealer, you are covered under warranty. Don't worry about it. It'll be looked at and it'll be fixed. Okay, and there we go. My phone is ringing. I need to answer this. Take care of yourself, everybody. Look after yourselves. I love you all. Say hi to your moms. Give her a call. She needs it. Love ya. Bye.